Are you about to watch this video and you're not liked and subscribed to it? Like the video, please. Just go down. It's right there. It's right there.
I did. I hit it. I hit it. Have you hit it?
Welcome back to Starting Nine.
Let's go.
Episode 279. We got more teams clinching. We got a week left of the Major League Baseball season. Shit's getting crazy in the American League wild card, at least for the teams that are in it.
Yeah.
Yep. If you're a fan of a team that's still in the race in the American League wild card, boy, is this going to be an exciting week. It is going to be very exciting.
It's an extremely exciting week because, I mean, if the A's weren't down to a must-win scenario before, Jared, they absolutely are today. They absolutely are today. And you're probably saying, Dallas, they have no fucking chance. You know what? You might be right. But technically, you are wrong.
Technically, you're wrong.
You are very wrong.
They're not mathematically eliminated yet.
Counting the Oakland A's out, correct, because we are not mathematically eliminated. So you would be counting incorrectly. Don't do that.
Yeah, there's been a couple of expected champagne celebrations since the last time that we met. By the way, Nicky Lopez, old Nicky Lopes.
Oh, Nicky Lopez.
Nicky Lopez on the podcast today for all the Kansas City Royals fans. And by the way, if you're just a good old-fashioned baseball fan, you should have some love and respect for Nicky Lopez in the game that he plays.
Yeah, you should.
That interview's coming up later in the podcast. But if you want to check that out on YouTube, you're more than welcome to do that as well. But my Milwaukee Brewers, despite a 43-game winning streak at the end of the season for the St. Louis Cardinals, my Milwaukee Brewers are NL Central champions. It was just a formality. It was a formality. I want to go back and listen to the season preview podcast that we did because I'm pretty sure you laughed at me when I picked the Brewers to win the division. I think you did.
I don't know why I would laugh at you. I told you that I picked the Cardinals. I wasn't
that was
laughing.
a bad pick, wasn't it?
No,
it was wrong. Not at all. Ended up being wrong.
No, I mean,
wrong.
Incorrect. But as of right now, the Cardinals are the hottest team in baseball. It just
not division champs.
Ran into some issues. That's all. Ran into some issues. It happens.
Yeah, they did. I guess they ran into some issues. The issues being that Paul Goldschmidt didn't want to turn into an MVP caliber player until the second half of the season.
That's why you play the entire season, is because you can get hot at just the right time, which apparently he did.
They've all. I mean, Tyler O'Neill, another guy. I mean, the guy hits a home run every goddamn day, and then you have Nolan Arenado. It's a complete team, Dallas. It's a complete team, and I think isn't it interesting that you're gonna have a 100-win Dodger team or a 100-win Giant team, whatever, in the wild
playing
card
the hottest
game.
team in baseball.
Biggest. I don't know who's gonna win is gonna be arguably the biggest mismatch wild card matchup.
The what? Say that again.
Like the biggest toss-up between the two wild card games is going to be the biggest mismatch record-wise. Whoever goes into the American League wild card game, they're going to be neck and neck record-wise when it's all said and done.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 100-win season for either one of those teams, obviously, because there's only two teams going to win 100 ball games, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that says enough, but yeah, it's such a beautiful moment, though, and that's what makes the wild card one-game scenario exciting for the people who like that. And we go back and forth on this not back and forth, but we talk about this all the time, the one game or the 3-game series, what's cool. Well, that's why I like the one game, is because the emphasis is placed on finishing first, because you do not want to find yourself having an epic season, 100-plus win effort, and like there's absolutely no division title, but now you're facing the most dangerous team in baseball, a team that has been riding a wave like that. And honestly, there could be one or two ways to look at it. You could say, I don't want any part of that. I don't want to get in front of that steamroller right now. No fucking thank you. Or you could say, law of averages are going to tell us that that's got to come to an end at some point in time, and we're getting closer to that
Tampa
than we
could win
are.
games, by the way.
What's that?
Tampa could end up winning 100 games.
What are they at? 96?
97.
97?
With 6 games to go. They could do it.
So, yeah, very likely then, I guess. 4-2, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that's the prize here is for baseball fans, you're getting those two teams meeting up. And for the fan of either the Giants or the Dodgers, that's going to be a heartbreaking. Like that game is going to be miserable.
I can't wait.
Miserable to sit through.
I can't wait. You know what I think could happen? I mean, so if it ends up being Dodgers Cardinals, which by the way, heading into play today on Tuesday, the San Francisco Giants have a 2-game lead in the division over the Dodgers. A 2-game lead with 6 to go.
Still, many pundits out there, Jared, believe that this division is ripe for the Dodgers taking.
You think so?
When I say many pundits, I'm referring to one individual that I heard say it here in the Bay Area. But again, multiple voices have said, I don't know. I don't know. Like that one game, if the Giants find themselves in a 1-game playoff, do you like their odds more than you would like a Dodgers team in a 1-game playoff?
No.
And you know it's weird because there's kind of been that feeling. That's been the story. Like I would hate for Giants fans to have the season that they've had and to have that all go away in 1 game.
In 1 week.
Well, not even
because you have a 2-game lead. Like if the Giants find themselves entering the last week of the season 2 games up and then get eliminated in the 1-game play-in, that does erase the entire 100+ win season. It does.
That hurts.
Well, they have to win the division.
That would hurt. That would hurt. And don't they? Who they finish with, Jared?
Who do they finish with? Do they play San Diego maybe?
The Padres? I feel like that's who they finish with, but they got another 3 games set with.
They've got the D-backs, so that'll be a layup.
Yeah. They got the D-backs
Tuesday,
at
Wednesday,
home
Thursday.
starting tonight, right?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they've got the D-backs, and then they finish this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Padres in San Francisco. I mean, the Padres will have mailed it in by then.
Yeah.
Are they officially eliminated from the wild card yet?
The Padres, yeah, they are officially eliminated from wild card contention, I believe.
Ooh. Yeah, they're 9 out. Yeah, they're eliminated. Not great. They might not even isn't that crazy that the San Diego Padres, they're entering play today at a 500 record. They could, after all the expectations and all the excitement, they could finish this season with a losing record. Like, that's very conceivable at this point.
Sure.
Crazy.
I still think a lot of people have forgotten about the injuries and shit that they've dealt with, though.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Like, it's not like that they've just been healthy and have completely disappointed.
They've been healthier than it sounds like you're making it seem. Like not having Clev all year is big. Losing Snell in the last month, that's big. And then sporadically losing Tatis here and there. But outside of that, what injuries have really hampered them?
Well, that's the idea is you're not healthy together consistently. That's the problem. What about Lamet?
Yeah, true. I mean, he was huge last year. And
he
was
just
a
don't
complete
have
non-factor this year.
Huge, and Darvish.
Mm-hmm. Well, Darvish just underperformed, I think.
Well, I mean, there's some not feeling right.
Yeah, sure.
That's the whole point. Like,
but when he went out there and took the ball, he wasn't the Darvish of last year that we were talking about, the Mickey Mouse Cy Young.
Right, and I'm not talking about injury. Like, broken leg, gone. No, like everything I just laid out. Tatis being banged up. No Lament. No fucking Snell at the end of this thing, which doesn't impact it on the whole. He didn't quite perform well. I mean, it's a lot of...
He was nasty when they
So I guess
needed
it might
him
be
to
fair
be,
to say it's a combination of underperforming and a list of injuries that have not helped.
Yeah. I mean, since we're on the Padres, do you think after that blow up in the dugout with Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. that there's some lingering negative energy there? Because they were playing the Cardinals at the time, who clearly went one way, and the Padres have gone the other way. They've lost 3 straight. They've lost 8 out of their last 10. Clearly, that blow-up did not do a single thing to motivate them in the right direction, whereas the Cardinals swept that series, and they've gone on to win 93 straight consecutive baseball games. Do you think that there could be lingering effects, knowing that that blow-up happened and then the team just completely fell out of it from there?
There absolutely could be. And it's let's not all just sit here and live in a world and act like Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr., everything is as good as it could possibly be, and there's never going to be a slight little, like, damn, dog, like he did, like, sure, that's water under the bridge now. That exchange isn't going to affect their relationship moving forward. But what it does is it absolutely lays the groundwork for, I don't want to say a growing into phase or a maturation phase, but as Fernando Tatis Jr. matures in this game and matures in this organization alongside Manny Machado, there is going to be a point in time, if it hasn't happened already, which I do believe it has to an extent, but a relinquishing of the spotlight, so to speak. Like, Manny knows that Tatis is the future of the game, but Manny knows how good Manny is as well. And Manny's not here to just let you forget about Manny. Like, yo, I'm pretty good.
Pretty good too.
I'm pretty fucking good, okay?
Yeah. And I actually came here and
and I'm the one who has been tasked with, and you've already heard Fernando Tatis Jr. reference me as an older brother type. And Jared, that dynamic can only exist for so long when little brother is poised to become who he is poised to become in this game and on that team. So there's going to be a moment where Manny will not necessarily be in a position to take that kind of action later down the road, like we saw happen earlier, right?
I think in that dynamic, it's tough love right now, but I feel like if and when the Padres win a championship or they have great success 3, 4, 5 years down the line, and we're talking about Fernando Tatis Jr., the 27-year-old quote-unquote veteran, I think that he will look back on that experience with Machado as a learning experience.
Absolutely.
And talk about himself in the past tense, where it's like, I was young and immature, and the fame and fortune did get to me. The contract when I first got it did have an effect on how I viewed myself, and the media attention and the fan admiration did have an effect on how I viewed myself. And I was a selfish player at that time in my life, but because of that experience that I had, it began the learning process of discovering that it's not about me, it's about the team. I'm the one that chose to play here for 14 fucking years. I'm the one that chose to be a franchise player. I need to be in part of accepting that financial commitment from the Padres organization. I need to learn and accept that it is team before me. And, I feel like in the next few years, we're going to see the maturing process of Fernando Tatis Jr. to where he can be a Manny Machado type to the next guy.
Well, that's exactly why Manny is there doing what he's doing for Fernando, is so that when Manny's day is done, Fernando already has those tools on how to bring along the next wave. Mm-hmm. That's why that relationship is so important. And that's why for the people that are looking at it saying, nope, that's it, that's what caused it, that's why they went on the skid, it's a combination of that learning experience and that learning moment occurring probably at the worst possible time for the team, right? Like, that's just how things went down. It's not like that derailed them. There was already a thought going on that shit was not going well.
Yeah, you don't have a blow up like that unless shit's already not going well.
Right.
Fans and media love a scapegoat, and they love to have an explanation why and something to point to where everything went downhill after this, like point X. It's like, well, no, things were already not going well by that time, and a lot of that, honestly, I think it really all started with the San Francisco Giants coming from out of nowhere to be the best team in baseball all year, first place in that division, to where you thought that you were playing musical chairs with 2 participants and 2 chairs. And then all of a sudden, there were 3 participants for 2 chairs, and you never really had a chair, did you, San Diego?
No, you were always, it feels like you were always on the outside looking in now.
Yes.
And the 60-game season can create a false sense of security.
Yeah.
Maybe you think things look a little differently than they do, because remember what we talked about at the end of a 60-game season? Yeah, you know what? If they got to play this whole schedule out, there's a solid chance that the Dodgers separate themselves from the Padres because of the depth. Well, what has happened? The injuries that I laid out for you, the ones where you might say, well, how big of an impact did they have? Well, in a 162-game season, this big of an impact. A 9-game out of the fucking division impact. That's how big of an impact.
Yeah.
That's where the separation is, the depth. So the 60-game season might have got you excited about the future, and I understand, but you can see now how you stack up against the folks who are in charge of the division, and you don't like how that looks right now.
No, you don't. Yeah, like I'm looking at the standings kind of at like the 60-game point this year. Like let's set it to, let's call it June 10th. And there's not really like if you're working with, like, it's roughly 60 games. It's roughly 60 games. And it's like the AL East, the Rays still in first place. The Red Sox are a game out. The Yankees are 6 out. Are the Red Sox game out of first place good this year? No. The Chicago White Sox, 4.5 game lead over the Indians. Are the Indians 4.5 games back of first place good? No. The A's, Dallas.
We don't have to talk about the AL West division.
The A's were in first place. Are they a first place team?
You bet.
Fuck no.
Not right
Fuck
now, they're not.
No, not even close.
Sure.
They're not even
capable.
close to a first place
But not
team.
right now.
And then you had, this may be the worst example of the 60-game season. The Mets. The Mets. Are they a first place team? No.
I don't think so.
No, they're not. The Braves were in third back then. The Phillies were 4 games out. The Braves were 4.5 games out. Here, this might be the most egregious 60-game season team. The Chicago Cubs were in first.
Oof.
They were 35-27. Again, this is roughly 60 games.
The Cubbies and the
Chicago
Padres
Cubs
right now are damn near a month out of first place.
Yes. The Chicago Cubs. Like, imagine last year if the Cubs like won the division and you would have these expectations like coming into this year. It's like, so the Chicago Cubs on what's this? June 10th, I said? June 10th were tied with the Brewers. They were both 35-27. Cardinals were 3 games back. Reds were 5 games back. And then, I mean, I would say the NL West was about what it is right now. You have the San Francisco Giants were in first place. The Dodgers a game and a half back. You fast forward to right now, going into the last week of the season, the Dodgers are 2 games back. But then you had the Padres were 2.5 back. They were 10 games over 500 at that point. Today, they're a 500 team, and they are not anywhere close to first place.
They are 24 games out of first place, I believe.
They are 24 games back, Dallas. They're a 500 club 24 games back of first place. So if you
So
were
it's
playing this
almost like-
season,
It's almost like the full season matters.
the full season matters. And if you were to go look at that last year, like let's say the Giants were doing the whole first place thing last year, 60-game season. You're like, well, the Giants, like they have a lot of veteran players and they played really well. And to their credit, best record in baseball. They won the division. The Dodgers were right there, but we were too. So you have that to build on for next year. Then you play the full season, and it's like, all right, yeah, the order is the same, but there's just a little bit distance between the Padres and the Giants and the Dodgers, who are separated by a game and a half here and then 2 games right now.
Yeah,
2.5 for the Padres turns into 24 games.
24. Back. Fucking miserable.
That's the difference. That's the difference between last year and this year.
Well, and as we talk about the Giants, who just lost, unfortunately, Brandon Belt.
Yeah, that one
fractured
sucks.
Thumb. That's fucking brutal. Absolutely brutal, because the dude, I mean, just from like it really feels like this year and over the last month or so have kind of been the Brandon Belt coming out party. You're getting a little bit of the personality now. Like he's taken on this whole alpha role, right? The captain, and it was fantastic. And that's what you need when you've got veteran guys who are leading the charge. You start to peel back layers on these dudes, and you really start to get that team cohesion going. I mean, Giants are a force. To have this happen is fucking brutal. Don't know how long he'll be out. It's a fractured thumb. So hopefully he's back in there. I don't know, maybe through a DS stretch. Who knows?
That is
This
big.
sucks.
That's a big loss.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
All right. The White Sox also clinched, but whatever. I mean, that was a foregone conclusion for months.
Tony.
He's doing
slamming
great.
some fucking Goslings with Tony once he gets that Manager of the Year award.
Yeah. I had a few dark and stormies at Fenway the last time I was allowed to go there. I had to go to the gambling cave in Jersey this past weekend, but the weekend before, or no.
Did you? How'd that go? Well, you know what? Why don't we pour ourselves a Goslings and let's talk about that. 'Cause
Goslings
rum with his Bermudian values, Jared,
Yep.
motivates people to take time to stop and talk about the Red Sox and also smell the roses, to step away from the rat race and be happy. Maybe
You can't call them the Red Sox when they're a
that's
playoff
my
team
accent.
and the
What are you
A's
talking?
are
That's
not.
my accent. That's just how I talk. That's how I speak. Goslings is family owned and operated since 1806. They are also fans of the Red Sox. Goslings rum is the spirit of Bermuda, and the dark and stormies, those are Bermuda's national drink. Do you know that?
I did know that, yeah.
You knew that. The name, Dark and Stormy, was said to have originated around the 1920s-ish. Old fishermen hanging out said, you know what? That right there, color of a cloud. Only a fool or a dead man would sail under. Said, boom, call it a Dark and Stormy. Done. Probably followed by, hey, barman, I'll have another Dark and Stormy. Goslings make it even easier. They have the drink ready to roll for you. Drink Dark and Stormy canned cocktails. Canned cocktail. No preparation. It's 100% authentic, no malt base, just Goslings Black Seal rum and Goslings Story ginger beer ready to rock down your gullet. Find it in your local liquor stores, fridge, or premixed cocktail aisle. Goslings is the official rum of the Boston Red Sox and offer a limited release Red Sox edition Fenway Green Dark and Stormy can. Available at Fenway Park and at liquor stores in New England. You need to go to reservebar.com. Go to reservebar.com. $15 off your order of any Goslings product with promo code Barstool.
You're not allowed to do that read ever again.
I feel like I nailed it.
No. You're disrespectful to the Boston Red Sox, who are a playoff team. You're taking your frustrations out.
It's
The
the
Oakland
name
A's,
of the team.
lose again. Again, they lose to America's team.
Yeah, well, yeah. Again, they lose to the Mariners. Don't act like losing has been what they've been doing. They just swept the division leader, so it's not like they've not just been losing ball games.
The Seattle Mariners.
They've been losing ball games to the
Seattle
Mariners.
Mariners are 13-4 against the A's this year.
Just a fucking pounding.
13-4. The Seattle Mariners, America's team, our Mariners.
The fuck out of here.
They are taking it to the green and gold, 13-4 this season. So entering play today, Tuesday, our Mariners are a half game back of the Toronto Blue Jays, who are a game back of the second wild card Boston Red Sox, who are 1 game back of the New York Yankees. And that's the cutoff. The A's are pretty much out of it at this point.
Not technically.
Nope, pretty much out of it.
Not technically.
Pretty much out of it.
Still
They
in
are
this thing.
3.5 back with 3 teams to jump in 1 week. Yeah, good
They
luck
play
with that.
baseball games too, and they could very well lose those ball games, Jared.
Yeah.
So it might sound like a lot, but if things work out well for you, maybe, just maybe. Oh,
Yeah.
that's why you play the game, Jared. That's why you play the
Yeah,
game.
no chance. There was something I saw on Baseball Reddit where there's a possibility for a 5-way tie. That would be cool.
Just a bunch of randomness. Stop it. That's
It's
Jeff
not even
passing.
That random.
Yeah, it's random. That ain't
I
happening.
don't even think it's that random. It could
It's
happen.
not happening.
It
That
could
would
happen.
be absolute chaos. I don't understand what has gone on between the A's and the Mariners.
What do you mean?
I do believe at some point in time there's just a, you know what? Quit trying to explain it. Like, this team has just played good baseball and played better baseball against you every time you've played. Every time you've played.
13-4?
What's that?
13-4.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Like, you've just been outplayed.
How do you feel about Mitch Haniger?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I said it during the broadcast, though.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it's not a knock on the individuals because they're still getting outs. They've still gotten outs. The difference is once you start to get into postseason type atmospheres, playoff type atmospheres, playoff type at bats, all right, the swing and miss factor, the swing and miss value increases exponentially. Why? If you don't hit the ball, you can't do damage. Mm-hmm. And if I'm in a, must-win baseball game scenario, well, guess what I'd rather have?
Would you rather have?
I'd rather have swing and miss.
Yeah.
I don't want me running out there in that situation. Give me the guy that's got 97 in the tank, 98 in the tank. Well, you just don't have a ton of that. That's that simple. You don't have a ton of that if you're the A's. So how you've been getting your outs has been very different. You've been relying on veteran guile. You've been relying on guys just making guys miss the barrel. And unfortunately, Mitch Haniger, he hasn't missed many barrels this season. 37 fucking homers.
Mm-hmm.
Your comeback player of the year. Mitch Haniger, 2 3-run jacks last night.
Pretty good.
But
The
both
second
of them,
one was what? By the 5th inning?
One maybe like the 5th or 6th inning. No, it might have been a little later. 6th inning or so.
I got it right here because I was watching the clip before we started the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, odd.
Yeah, bottom 6. Bottom 6 was the second one.
Yeah. And what was the first one in the 4th?
First one was in
Might have been the 5th. Guerra.
bottom 4.
Yeah, 4th. Guerra came in.
Ugh. Just absolute slop on the outside half.
Well, my point is, it was just, what's that?
Said he went out and got it.
Well, that's the thing. It's a 90 mile an hour, 91 mile an hour fastball away, outer third, that Haniger goes out and hooks.
It was a good swing. It was good. It was
What
a
are you
great
gonna do?
game. It was a great game. Great call, by the way. Shout out to the Mariners broadcast, Goldie. Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it because there weren't I think that was the only night game, right? By that point, I think that was the only 10 o'clock game on the East Coast.
it was very small slate. There's only 5 games, I think. 5 or 6 games.
So I mean, those are the nights that I love when you can just lock in on one game, and A's Mariners, it lived up to the hype and then some. To watch our Mariners,
I was
America's
locked in on the Dallas
team,
Cowboys Philadelphia Eagles game.
to watch them do what they did, specifically Mitch Haniger, who Dallas points out. I mean, that could be the comeback player of the year right there. How could you argue against it unless, you're talking Trey Mancini here? Outside of that, the Seattle Mariners, if you're one of those baseball fans that either your team is already out of it, or maybe you live in one of those states where they don't have a major league team. Maybe you're just a baseball fan. I know plenty of those people. They're like, yeah, I like baseball, so I just watch whatever. I don't really have a favorite team. How do you not pull for these Mariners? How do you not pull for them, Dallas? How do you not root for America's team to get to the postseason?
They're not exciting.
They are very exciting.
No, they're not.
They are underdogs. They've been counted out so many times, and they've had the deck stacked against them. It's like, oh, hey, Kendall Graveman, you could probably help this team, right? How about we just trade that guy to the division leader? How about we do that?
They went and got more
Toro
controllable
helps.
arms.
Yeah.
So, like, you got rid of Kendall Graveman, but you sign up Diego Castillo, who you now have for a couple years.
But that was a separate deal. That was a separate deal. You could add both.
Yeah, that's the idea, is what's going to have to come with Graveman. So you move on from that, and you go get Diego Castillo.
I'm just saying, this is a team that's worthy of your support if your team is on life support or dead. Like, if you're an A's fan, I feel like you could get behind the Seattle Mariners.
No, that's probably not going to happen.
Because if your team is just straight up out of it, how do you not root for this team?
So you're not talking to the A's fans if you're talking about
talking directly to them.
Well, you can't. You can't be, because they're not out of it. So A's fans, you don't have to listen to that.
You see what your boy Shohei Ohtani said? Which I loved, by the way. I loved this quote.
Hey, this all plays into my theory about Ohtani picking the Anaheim Angels, knowing that the greatest player in baseball plays there. Mm-hmm. Because he's saying to himself, that motherfucker don't pitch, does he? So when I show up and do what I do, and I start clamoring, I'm going to make some fucking noise. No, that's not Shohei. That's what I would love for Shohei to be doing. But he wants to win. He wants to win, Jared.
Yeah.
He said so.
So how much money are the Yankees going to give him, or the Dodgers? I mean, that's really it, right? Like,
it's not going to be New York. There's no shot. Fuck. It's like almost as soon as I say that, it feels like I've just opened up Brian Cashman's checkbook.
Yeah.
I say that though because I feel like Ohtani maybe wouldn't want to make that move. I don't know.
I don't think he loves Yankee Stadium.
Well, the just dealing with he is a sideshow.
Yeah, he's the Beatles. He's one man as the Beatles.
Mike Trout told you, or no, who was it? We interviewed. Oh fuck! I'm trying to remember who said, I've seen Mike Trout on a bus before, and I've never seen girls outside of the bus beating on the doors, crying, clamoring for Mike Trout.
Yeah.
But when Shohei Ohtani gets on the bus, that shit happens every day.
So my first thought when I saw that quote, and I hated that my mind went here instead of sticking to Ohtani, but my first thought was Mike Trout would never say something like this.
Would never say something like, I want to win?
Yeah. Like, if you wanted to win, you wouldn't have stayed. Like, you wouldn't have foregoed free agency and just been like, you know what? Anaheim, this is where I want to be. Like, I have no problem with a player saying that I'm comfortable here. I like the organization. I want to build the legacy here. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, Mike Trout's decision to stay with the Angels, fine. But you can't then complain about not winning because you chose to stay there. That you know how it works right there. Shohei Ohtani has free agency looming after next season, and he's telling you right now, like, hey, I want to win. That's going to be a factor here. Like, I'm going to listen to other teams' pitches again, because obviously he got courted by several teams when he was coming over to the States. But yeah, I just wish, because Mike Trout dances around that. What was it at the end of last year? It was the end of last year, right? When he was like, things are gonna have to change around here, basically. So he said it without saying it, but he wouldn't just straight up be like, hey, I got free agency coming up in 1 year, and I want to win.
So if you're Shohei Ohtani and you've watched the Angels handle things the way they have as far as the front office goes, whether it's on field or off the field type stuff, and you're aware of their lack of ability to develop pitching, and you've just like, if you're Shohei Ohtani, do you realistically believe that out of the 20 arms they just drafted last year, one of them is going to arrive and help and be an impact to the point where you're now a conversation for the division? And has your front office showed you that they're in tune with the needs of the club to the extent that they're reinforcing the club in those areas? I would argue they're not. And I would argue that Anthony Rendon is the prime example of your front office having little to no fucking idea where they need to go and spend their fucking money to help provide themselves a fair chance to win a fucking division.
And if you're Shohei Ohtani, I'm not going to listen to an Angels executive sit me down and be like, hey, I know that pitching has been our big issue, but we just drafted 20 pitchers. And I'm like, cool, man. Like, that doesn't help me right now. Like that's like, all right, eventually you draft 20 pitchers, maybe one, maybe two of those guys becomes a big leaguer, and who's to say that that person is an individual that's going to help us win a championship? It's like the odds are so much against that, and how much time I have to wait for that to come into fruition. I'm up next year. Are you going to help us win a championship in 2022? Because if not, then I don't believe in this organization's direction. I don't believe in your ability to surround me with the pieces that I need to be a part of a championship team.
The most important part of Ohtani's quote for me is the very last sentence. And I'll read his entire quote. I really like the team. I love the fans. I love the atmosphere of the team. But more than that, I want to win. That's the biggest thing for me. I'll leave it at that. You didn't have to throw that last part in there. That last part, I'll leave it at that, is to let you know there's a whole lot more behind this.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that. I want to win. I'll leave it at that. Front office, get your shit together and start putting people in place. Make a fucking move, because you've got Mike Trout, Mickey Mantle reincarnate out here, and you got me, the guy who Babe Ruth wishes he could be. And if we're not winning ball games with us, then what the fuck are we doing? Okay, you got Rendon. That's great. So you got 1, 2, 3 taken care of.
Not even.
I mean, look, and we're sidestepping a lot of guys here. Jared Walsh, I'm a huge fucking fan of. Love Jared Walsh. Love what Joe Adell could potentially become. Would love to see that kind of polish a little more. But I mean, they've got tools, but they have got to make a move. With Ohtani coming out and saying something like this, like you
it's just not enough time. It's not enough time. You can't turn around an organization. Not that they need like a full overhaul by any means, but you can't go from what this team is right now to what Shohei wants to be a part of in one winter's time. You can't.
No. But what you can do is, if you've got a year and a half or so with Shohei Ohtani here, you could try to put yourself in a position to lock him up and then bring in people around him at the same time. So when you pose this extension, you're also providing him with a championship window, because you've gone and gotten X and Y. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's to say? Like you mean to tell me that if the Angels don't land a Max Scherzer, now Ohtani's ears perk up a little more?
No.
I believe they do.
He's 38.
I believe they do because that's a starting point. And
It's
that's
a starting point,
ears perk up.
but you used the word window. I think that's exactly what he's looking for. Is don't do what like the Marlins did when they first opened up their new ballpark. They were like, all right, we're just gonna get a bunch of like random pieces and hope that they fit. Like you can't do that. You cannot turn an organization around in one winter.
Tell that to the Yankees.
When I mean they got Sabathia, Burnett, and Teixeira in one offseason, and then they won the World Series, but they already had a core in place. Do you believe that there's a core in place with the Angels? Do you believe that there's a championship core there?
I just threw out some names there with Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, Jared Walsh, Joe Adele.
Are they hypothetically CC Sabathia, Mark Teixeira, and AJ Burnett away from a championship?
Are the Angels?
Yes.
I don't see how you could. How could they not be? If you have two, because you're plugging in two frontline starters.
The second part of that question is, are those equivalents out there?
Well, okay. To answer the first part of your question, I do believe that the Angels, should they add a power switch hitting bat and two frontline starters to their team.
How good was Burnett even that year? I don't even know if he was really that
Things look a little different. Yeah, Burnett probably not frontline at that time.
Yeah, AJ Burnett in 2009 he threw 200 innings, so there's value there, but his ERA was about 4.
But Angels ain't got nobody throwing 200 innings.
No.
Trevor Cahill, I believe, last year or the year before, led the fucking team with 100 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Or led the starters or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah. Shout out Trevor Cahill.
The dactyl. Yeah, but Ohtani, that last sentence, I'll leave it at that.
I'll leave it at that, a.k.a. I have a lot more to say about this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to sewer the team that I still have to play for next year.
Well, he's just putting them on notice. And you know what's great about, oh, my God. Think about the free agency frenzy that was Garrett Cole.
Yeah. But at least like with Garrett Cole, we heard he wanted the West Coast and then he signed with the Yankees because I think you can tell like Garrett Cole is one of those like egomaniacs that wanted to break contract records. The second that he became a free agent, the literal second that he became a free agent,
he was
answering questions with a Scott Boras hat. Like he was all about the money, and then he went over there and pandered.
He's
and
pissed he got took out of the game.
I grew up a Yankee fan. Like I've been a Yankee fan my whole life, and blah blah blah. It's like no. They just offered you the most money by a large margin, and that's where you went. And that's fine. Like I talked about, like Mike Trout and him wanting to take less money to stay in an organization where he's never going to win, and because he's comfortable there, that's fine too. A guy like Garrett Cole, I wanted to go where I was going to get the most money, and then I'm going to act like I wanted to be there all along because I'm a fraud. That's fine too. But with Shohei Ohtani, when he tells you that he has geographical preferences, he means that. Because he could have, we talked about this before, he could have gotten a fuck ton of money to come here. And he chose to just be like, I want to earn it. Like, I actually want to go through like the arbitration process and whatever else. And like, I'll make league minimum. And then when I get to free agency, like I was drafted out of Saugus High School in Saugus, Massachusetts, like he was a guy that wanted to earn it. So I think he will, get top dollar, obviously, wherever he goes. But when he actually says, I have geographical preferences and I won't, like if the Yankees offer the most money, but he doesn't want to go to New York, he's not going to go to New York.
Yeah, dude, I'm reading some of these other excerpts from the conversation with Ohtani.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that there was more. That was the only quote that I saw.
Quote, if nothing changes on the team, Ohtani said, I think it's going to be really hard to be in playoff contention. It's very frustrating, very disappointing, Ohtani said, of missing out on the postseason. I always look forward to being in the playoff race at the end and trying to talk about the playoffs with my teammates. I always think about it. So, yeah, it's been disappointing.
Guy wants to play in the playoffs.
And when you think about him saying these things, and you know what else we just saw? For the first time, we've seen a clip of Ohtani slamming his bat, and it's not like he slammed the bat down on the ground, and he slammed the bat on the top of the dugout when whoever was hitting got out and into the inning, and meant that he wasn't going to be able to go on deck and get that much closer to hitting. Like, he's frustrated, and all in the face of producing the greatest season in baseball history from a baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you that he is probably as fed up as he could possibly be already, because he's saying, I physically can't do any more. And this is what we've got. Mm-hmm. Granted, we've been out with Trout the entire year. But he's probably saying to himself, even if we're light a Mike Trout and a Rendon, like, this is it?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be better.
Where would you go if you were him? You've got a list of teams that you're going to give to your agent. Be like, this is, like, I want to go to these places.
Honestly?
Yeah.
San Francisco would be a fantastic place for Shohei Ohtani.
Mm-hmm. Great fan base. Chance to win a championship. Championship pedigree.
National
League. I mean, I'm
like,
sure
now
that
you
they'll
don't
be.
have to.
I'm
Now
sure
the
we'll
now
have
the
the
mental
universal DH by
gymnastics
then,
of
though.
what's that?
I'm sure we'll have the universal DH by then.
Well, that's why my next comment was, the mental gymnastics for the manager trying to find a hole for him. Like, where are we going to stick him out in right field for these next fucking 3 innings to get him his last at bat? Well, I mean, that's still going to have to happen.
Yeah. By that point, we should have the universal DH. But, I mean, yeah, they've got the money to do it. They've got the championship pedigree.
Like, if you're gonna utilize Shohei Ohtani in the National League, like,
imagine how many fucking baseballs he would hit into the goddamn ocean.
Yeah, but you're not. That's the thing, is you're not going to be able to utilize
San Francisco fan. Stop calling it the ocean. It's the bay. It just sounds cooler.
There's no DH for him there. So, like, where's Ohtani going to be playing? Like, you're capitalizing on him every 5th day. So, depending on what he wants to do,
there'll be the DH though. He'll have that.
If they do, can't.
There's no chance that the new CBA comes and goes and you don't have the universal DH.
Jared, I would love to believe that. But that's not the world we live in right now. So, in a world like let's National League is all dependent on what he wants to do moving forward. If we can't get ahead of ourselves and just say that there's going to be a DH, well, then we have to factor in usage. So as of right now, it would absolutely be an American League team if he wants to continue to do what he's doing, because that's the only place that he can do that.
So let's just say, for the sake of argument, CBA comes and goes. We can't agree on a universal DH. Where does he go?
Then I believe he stays in the American League, and is it crazy for me to say Seattle?
No, I don't think it is. But, I mean, if you make this big stink about wanting to make the playoffs and then you sign with a team that has the longest playoff drought, it's like it's more, you're betting on yourself. You're saying that because it's not like the Mariners are some slouch organization. I think that they're close. Shit, they could even get in this year, Dallas. They could even get in this year. That drought could come to an end by the end of the week. We don't know. If they play like they play against the fucking Oakland A's the rest of the way, they're in. I mean, they absolutely steamroll the A's. They play like a champion, not just a playoff team. They play like a championship team every time they go up against the Oakland A's. So maybe he sees some potential there. Maybe Shohei's tuning into those games, and he's like, wow, 13-4 against the A's? Holy shit. These games against Oakland could be the reason why Shohei signs with the Mariners, if he's seeing that.
I think that's a little aggressive.
I don't know. I mean, what's that winning percentage?
It's good.
It's
It's good.
like I want to sign with a team that has like a 750 winning percentage.
It's positive.
Yeah.
They've played well.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's West Coast.
Do you think it's a
if
coast
it's West
thing?
Coast and it's American League? Like, I mean,
is it a coast thing or is it a market thing? Because everyone always says like, oh, if they're playing in Seattle, then it's closer to Japan. Like, how many times are like players from Japan that come to the United States to play Major League Baseball? How many times are they going home on the weekends to like hang out in Japan? Never.
well, no, but the idea is the travel is so much easier
Travel where?
from Japan.
When are they going to Japan?
It's not about when, like just the idea that All-Star break, for instance, like the idea that you have people there.
Shohei's never going to have an All-Star break. He's going to where the All-Star game is.
The idea that you have people there in Japan that you can bring over. It's not a 16-hour trek, whatever.
Hey, you know what? If you're my family and you're my friends and I'm Shohei Ohtani, you really want to be there that bad, then I mean it's you know where to find me.
No.
Yeah.
Clean it up.
I never understood it's closer to Japan. Like they're just fucking yeah, I'm going to take a little mini vacay, go back home to Japan to see my family.
You would
It's
never
like, no, you're
understand.
playing-
You haven't left the block of fucking Saugus.
I just
You're not
lived in
allowed
New
out
York for
past
3
the
years.
fucking what?
I just lived in New York for 3 years.
You're in a hole. You're in a hole. You got to get out. You got to branch out. Foreign soil. Get your feet on foreign soil.
These guys are always on the move. It's not like they're going back home. And like if the people really wanted to come see him, they can do that. It's going to be a long trek regardless. It's going to suck. But I think if there's a market or maybe there's a ballpark that Shohei thinks favors his style more than others. Like again, maybe San Francisco. I think I would love that. I think I would love that fit. I really would.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go on the record as saying that if the DH finds its way across baseball's entire landscape, then San Francisco could be a great place for Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, I think it'd be the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be great. It's a great pitcher's park, and it's a great hitter's park. You would have to love that.
He would do well there.
Yeah, there are a lot of outs along those baselines, and
he would take advantage of Triple's Alley as a hitter.
Triple's Alley, the goddamn ocean, the history. Imagine being like the next greatest player of all time, just Barry Lamar Bonds right on down, Willie Mays, Shohei Ohtani. Oh,
Showtime. Showtime.
Oh, that makes it move. I'm rooting for it. I think even if the Red Sox were in on Shohei Ohtani, I would still be rooting for him to sign with the Giants.
It would be a glorious day in the Bay Area for sure.
You know, another reason why I would love for him to sign with the Giants is so that I can watch him. Like if I'm locked in on the Red Sox at 7 p.m., it's like I know that I still have showtime waiting for me at 10 p.m.
Nice little dessert.
Yeah.
Nightcap.
I love that.
Little Showtime nightcap.
That's why I get to like watch so many Padres games. I watch A's games. I love watching West Coast baseball.
And I enjoy the early morning, like a Sunday 10 a.m. shot, get into the yard, and I've got morning baseball to get me through the preparation, like doing prep work and stuff in the morning at the ballpark. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's beautiful. Not as beautiful as the St. Louis Cardinals 16-game winning streak. You want to talk about getting hot at the right time. Who'd you rather play, a good team or a hot team? I'd rather play a good team. I don't want to play the hot team. Everything goes right for those sons of bitches. And it feels like that's been the case for the St. Louis Cardinals. On top of doing everything right themselves, things are going their way. It's just, it's a great life for the St. Louis Cardinals right now.
It is a great life for the St. Louis Cardinals because they are a team that, there have been teams that have gotten hot this time of the year that you still quite don't believe in. Like, there are teams that get hot, they get into the playoffs, and you're like, all right, that's congratulations. You were good enough to get hot at the right time, and that in turn got you into the postseason. But once you get there, it's like, nice little Cinderella story, but you're not hanging with these other teams. I don't feel that way about the Cardinals. And I know that I said something about the Cardinals that Cardinal fans honestly agreed with what I said at the time. This was like 2 months ago. They were kind of hovering around the wild card, but never really a threat to take it over. They would win, 2 games, then they'd lose 3, and then they'd win 3 games, they'd lose 2. So they could never quite get it going, but they were always good enough to be around. And I was like, the Cardinals are just kind of there. And I had Cardinal fans like tweeting me about it, and they were like, yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Like, we're just kind of hovering. We exist. We're not a threat to anyone. We're not an embarrassment. We're just kind of there. And then they became a threat to everyone. Then they won 16 straight baseball games. And I don't think it's a matter of, to your question, do you want to face the hot team or the good team? What happens when it's both?
Well, that's where I was going with that, is the St. Louis Cardinals have remembered that they're good and they're hot as fuck. And now it's like, oh, that's right. It's like when a dog realizes its own strength and realizes, as a guy who owns Great Danes, like when that 180-pound animal realizes that it now weighs 180 pounds and is strong as fuck, things change on the dog park. Things are a little different. And that's what the Cardinals are doing, is they're starting to walk around and they're feeling like the alpha.
They are.
And it might not be the case in the division. That's fine for them because they know they're good and they're hot right now.
Yeah. They're hot as fuck. Do you think they went out? Put it this way. The 2 3-game series that the Cardinals have remaining on their schedule, both of those teams are already part of the 16-game winning streak.
Well, they've got
Brewers.
They finished with the
Brewers and Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough to just book 3 against the division champ, right?
I mean, they're gonna be resting guys. They got nothing to play for right now.
No, but still, nonetheless,
they're still a good team.
Yeah, I don't see them sweeping. No, I don't think they're going to win out. But that doesn't
like the Brewers.
That doesn't matter.
The Brewers are not even in contention for the best record. Like they don't even have. They're 8 games back of the Giants, so they don't even have a shot to have like home field.
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, no, I'm not going to say that they went out. Not on Rick Ankiel Budweiser Bash night. Fuck no.
We'll see.
They might.
I feel like if you're the Cardinals, you probably don't want to win out.
Why not?
You want to be riding 22 straight?
See? That's what I said early, right? Yeah, the law of averages tell you this has got to come to an end at some point. So there's a couple ways to look at it. That's why I say, I don't know that they're sweeping the Brewers. What I just tell you, you can't fucking not losing to the Brew Crew on Rick Ankiel Budweiser Bash night.
No.
So they're winning the first game.
Like,
then after that,
it's almost reverse psychology. Like, would you want to be riding an MLB record 22 straight victories going into a 1-game playoff? Like that has loss written all over it.
No, but it doesn't. See, like I would say, look, that's all. Like that's why we're here, is because we've been hot. Like the record, it is what it. Like you're not. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Is you face a life or death scenario with the record attached to it, so the record is secondary. Like look, if we win, that's great. The record is what it is. But if we win, we continue to play ball, and that's what we care about. So there's no pressure from the record here. The pressure is all now just having to win this ball game, which would be the same if we won every game coming into this down the stretch, or if we lost the last 3 games coming into this wild card game. So that's how I look at it.
So that
you got to win that ball game. Going into that ball game with a peripheral record attached to it would mean nothing to me. My focus is on playing another game in October.
The Cardinals have 6 games remaining on their schedule. They've won 16 straight games. So if they win out, they would tie the record set by the 2017 Cleveland Indians. Most consecutive wins, 22, which means that they would go into a do-or-die wild card game. And if they win that would be the Major League record for most consecutive victories, while
That
also
would be,
winning the wild card.
I'm telling you right now, that's the best way. If you're going to face a record like that as a team and you're questioning, or people have questions about where's the pressure, blah, blah, well, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Because like you wake up, where's the pressure?
So
Pressure's
does that
on just
count?
What's that? No,
Does that
I wouldn't
count?
think it would count. Regular season
It
games.
would or it would not.
I would think it would not count unless you're okay with factoring in, because you don't count a team's wins for their regular season victories in the postseason.
Yeah. So I guess, if the Cardinals win out, then they can break the record on opening day, or does it not even? It doesn't even count going year to year.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
We've never seen this before.
Yeah, because hitting streaks continue.
Hitting streaks do continue year to year, but winning streaks,
On base streak, shit like that.
like
yeah,
if
winning
I'm
streaks.
a player and it's like a hitting streak, then it's like I'm still the guy. It doesn't matter that it's a new year, but a team's winning streak, it's a new team. So does it count? I would say no.
Yeah, I would say no. Like, this doesn't carry over to next year. Like,
I would count it if they won the wild card game, though.
because we finished out our schedule, because that record is within a schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
A scheduled championship season.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't extend this to another championship season and accumulate a combined record.
Yeah. How many Cardinals fans are going to say that we jinxed it if they lose because we talked about it so much? Like, we're just going to ignore the story.
I'm going to tell them to fuck off politely, because
you like the Cardinals.
well, and because they've asked us to talk about the team. And at
Yeah.
one point in time, even while slobbering all over the knobs of the Redbirds, we were told that we weren't talking about the St. Louis Cardinals, which was just preposterous.
Yeah. It's either you don't talk about them enough, it's about damn time you started talking about them. Before there was nothing to talk about. Like, what were you going to talk about?
We were talking about a team that was in purgatory.
Yeah.
We were talking about a team that I had winning the division that was not winning the division.
Yeah. If you had to give out, did I already ask you this like last time? If you had to give out a Cardinal team MVP, who would you give it to?
Yeah, and you agreed with me when I told you it was Paul Goldschmidt. You reluctantly agreed with me, but then you went over
I
the
wanted to
numbers
give
and
it to Tyler O'Neill. I did.
Yeah, you did. But
But then
you
we
understood.
considered Adam Wainwright.
There was a conversation about it,
Mm-hmm.
but we settled on Paul Goldschmidt, who is now just 2 home runs.
Yeah, that's
Just
not good.
Just 2 home runs away.
You know what we suck at is like actually when we make wagers with each other, we
Having
always
something-
are like, all right, when we'll figure it out like a year from now, what
Yeah.
we're actually wagering. But like, just know that we're competing against each other on this particular thing, where
Mm-hmm.
it is a wager, but we haven't named the stakes.
I believe it's because you're afraid to
No,
come to
no.
terms with
well,
stakes.
because I knew I
and
was gonna win, and I'm winning still.
and shake my no. You did.
I was like, there's nothing that you can offer me.
You ducked me. You ducked me in rock paper scissors because you just
That's
didn't
not
want
true
to
at
have
all.
to come to the negotiating table.
Nope. And I would have beaten you too.
No, you clearly not.
I definitely would have. I threw
Clearly not.
30 of those things.
What's that?
I threw 30 of them
I don't think you threw.
No, I
30
threw
of them. You definitely lost 30 of them.
on purpose.
You needed better sleep. That was the problem.
I really did. It. The whole thing about Molecule Mattress is that I share a bed with a Pro Bowl quarterback, also an Olympic swimmer, and a national women's soccer star.
You sleep.
I
What,
should
do you
explain.
sleep at the foot? You sleep at the foot of the bed?
Yeah, like a little kitty cat. When I heard how many elite athletes sleep on a Molecule mattress and call it their best sleep ever, had to order one for myself. and they're spot on about that.
Duh.
I'm no elite athlete. I think, well,
What? No.
I would say, I mean, it depends on the time period that you're.
He of the draftable 1-1 split is no elite athlete?
I would say that there was a time in my life where I probably was an elite athlete.
Was it that time where you were 4 years older than everybody else playing baseball?
Roughly. Roughly 4 years older. But here's the thing. Molecule sleep scientists literally created the world's most perfect mattress. It's unlike any other mattress in a box. It's cool to the touch. It's not like the foam mattresses. It has 6 times the airflow of my old mattress, so it keeps me cool all night long. It has zone reflex layers that adjust with me in all my weird-ass sleep positions, so I never awaken with a stiff neck or a sore back. And let me tell you, I used to do that all the time. Wake up feeling like I got hit by a truck. Those days are over, Dallas. I mean, Dallas, how many years until you're 40? 2?
Yeah. Wait, am I 30? No, I think I'm 38. 2. Whatever.
Close enough. I mean, you should get one of these. You need a molecule mattress. And it's how elite athletes and Dallas Braden are going to get their best sleep ever. Sleep on your molecule mattress risk-free for 100 nights. If you don't have your deepest, most restorative sleep that you've ever had, you can return it. Some people actually pronounce that restorative. But it's also restorative. Both are correct. Visit onmolecule.com and save 20% with the promo code STARTING9. Again, that is 20% with the promo code STARTING9 at onmolecule.com. Earlier in the program, we told you that we got old Nicky Lopez on the show today. And who would I be to deny you, the listeners, the grounds crew, any longer of that interview? Dallas?
Oh, Nicky Lopes. Come you, shooter.
All right, we've got Nicky Lopez of the Kansas City Royals with us today. I want to start right here because I kind of feel pretty strongly about this, and you're the perfect guy to talk to about this. So all these nerds on baseball Twitter, they want to discount batting average. They don't want to hear it. They're like, oh, batting average, what is that? You got to use wins, weighted runs created plus and OPS and all that, on base percentage and weighted on base average. Like, I like to use all that too. But to just dismiss batting average as if it's just useless and you can't look at it in any context, what do you say as a guy that's playing essentially his first full big league season? You look up and you're like, I'm hitting over 300. That's pretty fucking good to do. Like, that's pretty hard to do in the big leagues.
Yeah, just getting a hit is pretty hard in freaking big league. So, no, I know. I see all those guys on, those slanders on Twitter, and they always tell us stay off Twitter and all that. It's hard. I mean, that's where we get all of our news and stuff. But you see all those guys that are putting all these statistics into it, and like you were saying, the runs weighted, whatever. I don't even know what those mean. So I just go out there and I try to get on base. I try to hit the ball. I try to find some grass, and I think that's the best way to put it. But if it was me, I think batting average is a pretty big visual of how you're doing, of success.
I've never seen a guy hit 300 and be like, that guy sucks.
Right? I know,
Yeah.
and especially in the big leagues too, because you guys know how hard it is to hit a ball, especially now when we're facing 100-mile-per-hour cutters from this guy in Cleveland.
Classic.
And so it's like, all right, well, just getting a hit is hard enough. So I think 300 is not bad, and but I think Twitter has a different idea.
When did you start to place the value on bat to ball? Like, understanding I'm not going to be a dude who's going to power this bitch out of the yard, and I might need to reel that approach in. Let's really put value on getting the barrel to the baseball. When did you understand how valuable that was going to be for you, aside from trying to pump balls out of the park?
when I got sent down in spring training this off season.
Oh.
I mean this spring training, and I got called in the office. They said, "Hey, we're gonna send you down," and it was kind of a gut punch because obviously the past 2 seasons, 2019, 2020, I was up in the big leagues, and then I got sent down, and they're like, "You got to kind of just figure out your hitting." I gained weight. I tried to get bigger and stronger in 2020. My swing went to shit, and I was trying to lift the ball, and you see everything lifting, hitting the ball harder. When I got sent down, they pulled me in the office, and they're like, "You're missing the fastball at a 30% clip right now," which is not good. Coming from a guy who in minor leagues was always a contact guy, contact first. So they pulled me in the office. They're like, they showed me video of 2018. They're like, "Be that guy. Like, try to be that guy," because that was my best season yet in the minor leagues. So I just try to emulate that, try to feel that again, and then I think that's when I realized that when I get to the big leagues, I'm just going to do that, and I don't really care about home runs because I'll eventually maybe run into 1 or 2. So
like you mentioned the home runs, like you're a guy that can hit 20 doubles, steal 20 bags. If you're up there like hitting 20 doubles, is there a part of you that's like, I'm this like if I'm hitting doubles, I'm this close to being a guy that can hit like 15, 20 homers? Is that something that creeps into your mind, or you're just like, I'm going to stick to my game, I'm just going to swipe bags, I'm going to turn singles into doubles by legging these out? Or is there a part of you where it's like, I'm in my mid-20s, I haven't hit my physical prime yet, maybe these doubles later down the line, those are going to be homers?
Yeah, and I think that's more of it, is that I know I'm going to get bigger and stronger. Right now, I think what was funny was that when I got drafted, I was obviously drafted when I was 22, but I think on my draft notes it was like 22, but in like an 18-year-old's body. So I'm like, all right, perfect. I guess that's good in the sense of baseball.
Room to grow.
Right. So I'm like, I know I'm gonna grow, and I know I'm going to obviously the power is gonna maybe get there, but yeah, it does kind of creep in your mind. It was like, all right, well, I just hit a ball off the wall at Kauffman, which would probably be gone any other stadium. So it's like, all right, well, can we take that into account? But obviously not. And,
is there
I know it.
Oh, go ahead.
No, and I know it's going to be there, but right now, I think my main focus is just getting on base because, I think that's what I need to do is just get on base.
Is there a point that we see you become Nick? Is there an amount of home runs that get hit where it's no like, hey, it's fucking Nicky from the neighborhood, Nicky Lopez from the neighborhood, he's in the big leagues, the fucking infield, this guy's fucking raking. Well, now maybe you start to drop dick. Now maybe it's not 20 doubles, maybe it's 15. We got a few pumps over the wall. When does that? When does Nick shed the Nicky?
Oh man, I wish I could tell you. I wish I had an answer for you. I think I'm going to stick with Nicky.
Okay.
But that wouldn't be a bad idea. If I just start dropping nukes like 40 home runs, I'm going to maybe be like, yeah, I'm Nick Lopez.
Yeah,
now.
we'll
Nick,
get the shirt
Nick's
working.
got 50 extra base hits. Like Nick has some combination of like 30 homers, 20 doubles, something like that. Like Nicky needs to hit the bench, and he's gonna start working towards hitting the homers.
Yeah, I got T-shirts ready. Soon as you hit that mark, you let me know. And the Nick drops dick T-shirts are fucking
drops dick.
hitting the rack, baby. You know that.
All right, if I hit 10 home runs in a season, I'll contact you and be like, all right, start making them.
Done. Nick, I'm firing off the Nick drops dick.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Love that. How valuable have you found it to have a resource, a guy like Whit Merrifield, who's just like, hey, I can roll out of bed, have 200 hits, contact guy, kind of like you, but like your on base percentage, like you're getting on base almost at like a 370 clip, like you're right there. So your game of being able to make contact, but also your approach at the plate, like the strike zone, like you're going to be able to get on base even if it's not a hit, to be able to hit 300 but also get on base almost at a 400 clip. That's a rare trait to have. So is a guy like Whit a guy that you kind of are able to tap into there?
Absolutely, yeah. And I go to Whit. I went to Whit a lot in obviously 19 getting called up, and then 20. And then I went to him a lot here this year because I was taking a lot of pitches, trying to look for that walk to get on base rather than, being aggressive and getting that pitch and taking my best swing at it. And he was like, well, this is the big leagues. Like, you can't really give them pitches. You can't give a pitcher. I think he was in an interview yesterday. He's like, you can't give Chris Sale a fastball down the middle, like for strike one, because then he's going to go to that slider, which then I was like, all right, yeah, that's actually a very valid point because I was just taking pitches. I was working counts, which worked out. I was working walks. I was, getting two strike hits. But when he said that, it kind of resonated with me. Like, all right, well, if I get a fastball or if I get a ball over the plate, I got to take my best swing at it because, the stuff is too good now. Obviously pitchers have those wipeout, sliders or changeups, whatever it may be. So he's been great for me. I started the season batting ninth, so my main focus was to get on base for him. Now I'm getting on for Salvi, which has been
that must be fun.
Been pretty incredible.
Yeah, he's allowing you to get that jogging cardio in. Just touch second, touch third. Salvi will take care of the rest. Don't worry about it.
That's what I told him. I told him, I was like, if I'm on base when you hit a home run, I should at least get like a half a home run or something since I touch every base. I jog with you. But I told him, I said, it makes me feel like I hit a home run because I'm jogging. I tap the third base coach's hand. Like, yeah.
See, I was just thinking about this. Like, if they ever get to a point where the dude who hits the jack at home, like maybe he doesn't have to run. So Salvi just hits the ball and he's back into the dugout, or maybe he hits it and he's waiting for you to come around second base, third base, and you just jump into his arms at home plate. We fucking did it together, Salvi. We did it together. I gotta ask you this question, man, because one, we just had y'all in town, and it's Witt's our guy, you know that.
Right.
And I truly enjoy watching athletes just athlete out there, And with the way that Dayton Moore, your guys' GM, has talked about constructing the roster, wanting athletes all over the field, I want them running all over the outfield, I want to be able to move these guys around. You're somebody who fits that bill. Do you see that trending in our game back around as opposed to, the guys you stick on the corner of the infield, corner in the outfield? They're not moving really anywhere. They're going to hit their homers, but really not do much for you other than that. I see the game trending back to guys where Nicky Lopez and Whit Merrifield are moving the game along. Is that something you like to see come around?
I think so. I really do. And I'm not just saying that selfishly because that's the type of game I play, but I know a lot of people, they like to see the home runs. They like to see the strikeouts. But I feel like a lot of people were saying, hey, we want to see more action. Because, when you go to a game, you might not see a home run. You might not see, you might see just, 10 strikeouts and you're just sitting there and you're like, all right, well, I didn't really see much. But obviously you saw a dominant pitcher, obviously. But, why not want to see like a kid hit a single stretch into a double, slide into second and, a first to third or something like that. And I think it is trending. You can kind of see, teams kind of going that way. Obviously we've always been that way. And I think that's what we have to be, the Royals. But you can kind of see teams around the league kind of going away from, all right, we're just going to, dip and try to hit this home run. We're going back to small ball. We're going back to speed on the base pass. We're going back to steals, hit and runs, all that stuff. So I think it does make baseball a little bit more exciting.
I fucking love it because legitimately I was thinking to myself when you're up there, because you had a decent series against us, and I was just like, are you fucking serious? Like, this fucking guy gets on, what's happening. These guys are moving. Whit Merrifield, like, I've been talking shit to Whit for the past month about how, like, Marte is taking that bonus from you. It's not like you're not cashing out. Marte is coming for that ass. But like knowing that when you guys get on base, like that's what I'm anticipating. Even as an announcer, right? I'm doing my homework and like you're a guy I circle because to your point, like your game gets me excited. Your game gives me blood flow because the game of baseball is fucking moving now. And like not just any old slapdick can go up there and hit behind a guy. Not just any old slapdick can go out there, touch it with two. You got guys move like that. That takes a special breed, and I know that, and so I appreciate that. I'm curious if guys in the game can understand that and see that evolving too.
Yeah, and I think that's what would be best. Not best for baseball, because obviously I love watching home runs. I love Salvi hitting a ball off of our scoreboard,
Yeah.
and it's like, but when you have everyone trying to do that,
Mhm.
I think it can make for a product that isn't the best product that you can put on the field. But if you know your role, if you know, obviously I didn't know who I was last year. I'm still trying to learn who I am still, like everyone is. But I'm not a guy who should, dip and try to hit a home run, because that's just not a good product to put
No,
out there.
it's funny you say that, because I said on our broadcast, I used you specifically. I said, now, it's going to be one thing if Nicky Lopez rolls into spring training and comes out on the other side hitting 330, 340. Nicky Lopez isn't being told to do anything differently. If Nicky Lopez goes on a streak where he hits 4 or 5 homers in 6 or 7 days and then doesn't get another knock for the next month because he now fancies himself as somebody who's a 20 to 25 homer guy, I said Nicky Lopez is now playing into the hand of everybody that's trying to get him out. And
Exactly.
I don't think, and I finished it with, I don't think Nicky Lopez is that kind of guy, which gets me excited to watch him and a guy like Whit Merrifield operate in the same lineup, because when they start to understand and really feel what each other can do and how to play off of each other in a lineup, that becomes fucking dangerous, man. Not something I want to see for 3 straight fucking days.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
dude, I do want to ask you about the philanthropic side of things, the charity side of things, because you get to the big leagues, you're trying to establish yourself as a player, but it also gives you a great time to create a platform or establish and further a platform that you've sort of understood is going to be a part of what you're doing. So you've got something going on called Nicky's Number Ones, and what I think is really cool about it is it's open conversation about multiple things. But that's just what I understand about it. Why don't you kind of explain to the folks what you got going on? Because this is a very different approach to getting your hands on.
Yeah. So right when I got called up in 19, well, I've always been pretty involved in the community since the minor leagues. But when I got called up in 19, and obviously a couple months in, I was like, all right, what can I do? What can I do to the community? What can I do to make it a better place? We're given this platform as professional athletes, and I wanted to use it. And I'm 2 years in, almost 3 years in. I think it was a good opportunity to reach the community. So Nicky's Number Ones is basically, I work with Operation Breakthrough, which is to help underprivileged inner city kids who might not have a role model in their life, a male role model in their life. And then I also do the Children's Hospital, and then I do the Challenger program, which I actually have a Zoom call with them tomorrow.
Right on.
And basically it's just, I talk to the kids, I answer any questions that they might have. And then eventually next year, hopefully I can get them into the Kauffman Stadium, take them on the field, what the life of a big leaguer, day in the life of a big leaguer, and just kind of just show them around and answer any questions they may have. Be that positive role model and be that person there, to show them that, hey, I'm listening to you guys. I'm here if you need me. It's not like one of those, charities that, I know there's, money involved and all that stuff. It's more of a, positive role model and just kind of being there for the kids.
What was the motivation to start that?
I was always, I grew up in a great family. But I was always that kid that loved baseball, loved sports, who always looked up to big athletes, big league athletes, professional athletes.
Drop some names.
I love Derek Jeter. Growing up, I was a big Derek Jeter fan. And then Dustin Pedroia, big Dustin Pedroia fan. I know you can't be a Yankee.
That little fucking rat.
But I just loved, the way they played. They played the game hard. I was the kid that was always arguing with fake umpires in the backyard. I would be the umpire arguing at myself, and then I was arguing because I was the player then. But in high school, I won a leadership award called the J. Calibre Leadership Award Foundation. And long story short, it was a kid who took his life due to steroids. And then his parents he was a great kid. His parents made a leadership award out of, in his memory. And 4 kids out of high school were nominated we went to Colorado to learn leadership activities. And then when you get back, you had to participate in Adapt to PE, it was called. And it was helping out the special needs kids. And ever since then, I was hooked. I was like, I want to help these guys out. I want to help any way I can, and kind of just carrying it over now into, using my platform.
Dude,
so obviously, this is Salvador Perez's team, and you've got a guy like Whit Merrifield in the clubhouse too. Where do you find yourself in a leadership position with this team? 3 years in the big leagues, you've got some guys that have won a World Series there. You've got some guys that have got some hardware there. Are you eager to move into more of a leadership role with the Royals, or do you find yourself kind of helping where you can, or are you kind of just like, well, it's not my place yet, so I'm just going to fall into line? Like, where are you at in terms of that?
I think I was at a point where it was not my place yet, maybe last year or the year before, but this year, it's kind of filling in where I fit. Because obviously, like you said, Whit and Salvi, and you got some guys that obviously won World Series. But I think as years go on, I would like to be, that guy that people can look up to and come to. I'm still kind of testing the waters, obviously. I'm still there for the guys who just get called up that maybe, I'm speaking for myself, but when you get called up, it's kind of a not frightening, but you don't really want to go up to a Salvador Perez, or in my case, it was Alex Gordon, and be like, hey, and start asking him a million questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm in that buffer position where if they can come ask me, but I was actually the kind of guy that went up to Alex Gordon and started talking to him, because you gotta take the chance when you can. But,
hey, closed mouths don't get fed. A lot of information to have, man.
Exactly.
So you got Jeets hanging on the wall above your bed, kissing you goodnight every night before you close your little eyeballs. Growing up to be the big leaguer you want to be. What was the aha moment, though, once you got there? Because you just said you're walking into a clubhouse, you got fucking Gordo looking over at you. Like, who the fuck is this kid? You got Salvi over there looking at you.
Yeah.
What was the moment where you realized, holy shit, I am in the big leagues? Like, this is the big leagues. That just happened.
Yeah. I always tell this story is when we were playing, my first ever trip was to LA to play the Angels. Which was actually a really special trip because my first ever trip was also Dad's trip. So I was actually riding on the plane with my dad, which is really cool. I don't know if a lot of people could say that. So my first trip ever, though, was to LA to play the Angels. I get a single in the first inning, and I'm standing on first base with Albert Pujols. Before he says anything to me, he steals our shift lineup card out of my back pocket and puts it in his. So now I'm like, all right, what do I even say?
Yeah.
I'm stuck. Like, do I call him Mr. Pujols? Like, do I call him Albert? So that's all that's going through my head. I'm like, all right. I was like, I'm gonna need that back. Kind of laughing with him, and he's like, you just made your debut, right? And I was like, yeah, a couple days ago. And then I asked him when he made his debut, and he's like, I made it in 01. And then he asked me, how old were you in 01? I was like, I was 6. And then he looked at our first base coach and goes, I need to retire. That was my like aha moment. I was like, wow, I'm talking to Albert Pujols right now. So
yeah. What did you address him as? What did you eventually settle on?
Was it Mr. Pujols? Were you scared, fucking Nicky? Scared ass?
I said no. I called him Albert. I did call him Albert, but I was like in my head though before I even said anything because I froze for a second. I'm like, do I call him Mr. Pujols?
Yeah. Yeah.
That would have made him probably feel really old. So
I think it's really cool that like Albert takes the time to realize that this dude just made his big league debut. Like Albert Pujols at this point in his career, he's probably got to go through all kinds of preparation to get himself ready to play a Major League Baseball game at this point in his life that he didn't have to do back in 01 when he can just roll out of bed and crank 40 homers. And he's taking the time to be like, Nicky Lopez just made his debut. I know this guy. I recognize his face. Like that would freak me out. Like thinking of all those things and coming to terms with like realizing that like he knows who I am. He knows that I just made my debut. And now he's also just taking the time to kind of like fuck around with me at first base because that's right. I think in his way, I'm an opponent of his and he's doing something to kind of put my mind at ease that I'm just fresh in the big leagues and I'm probably nervous as hell standing next to him. This is his way of non-verbally communicating like, hey, you don't have to freak out around me. Like we're all just guys here.
Yeah, no, that was you hit that right on the head because it did ease up right after that. Like at first, I was shitting my pants. I was like, "Oh my god, this is Albert Pujols. I drafted you in MVP baseball 04, like every single year. Yeah,
Yeah.
05.
05 was the best one. Yeah.
Yeah,
The one with
05.
Manny on the cover.
Yeah. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god. But then yeah, once he started talking to me and how nice of a guy he was, I was like, wow, this actually is making the transition very, very easy.
Yeah. So like this is a guy's name that's come up a lot in just talking to you in this brief time, but Salvador Perez. So he makes it to the home run derby, and we had this whole thing on the
Jared
podcast
actually is on the record as saying, and I quote, "What the fuck is Salvador Perez doing here in the home run derby?"
This whole time, Dallas was like, he's not a home run hitter. Why is he in the home run derby? And I was like, Dallas,
no.
the guy can crank homers. Like, just sit back, relax, and watch what he does in Denver. And Dallas was like, no chance, not happening. He's
Quite
like,
the
"I would
opposite,
rather-"
Nicky. Quite the opposite.
He actually pulled out a list of players and started listing off guys he would rather see at the home run derby.
Was I on the list?
You were on the list. You were
Let's
on the
go.
list. Dallas goes through the whole list of, he's like, I would rather see this person, that person, and this person. So we're talking July. During the time of mid-July, it was still inconceivable that Salvador Perez could put together the home run season that he's put together. At what point did you, because you got a front row seat to this every single day, at what point did it hit you that, like, this guy's been in the big leagues for a long time, and he may be having a career year right now? Like, when did it hit you that, like, this year's different?
It's last year when he came back, because he won I think he won comeback player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
He was hitting the shit out of the ball, and I was like, wow, it sounds different. And coming into spring training, balls were flying off his bat, and I'm like, all right, like he's motivated. You could see him every single day working out, every single day doing something, kind of taking it upon himself that he's like, I'm not messing around this year. And he was on pace to play 162 this year, and as a catcher, that's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had like a stomach virus or something wrong with his stomach, and which forced him not to be able to play for one game. And if not, he would have played 162 as a catcher. And I'm like, wow, that's insane. But I think I noticed it in spring training where he kind of came in a little bit different than the last two spring trainings, and I was all right. He wants to do something special, obviously, and then he took right off.
Well, it's fucking happening. Do you ever, like, is that somebody that you think that you could go to the cage with and learn from, or is that just like look, we're not even on the same like wavelength in terms of what we're trying to achieve here in the batter's box? But I mean, you can, because you can learn things. I can learn things from watching a right-hander go to work, just maybe watching how he tries to sequence guys, whatever. There might be something I could pick up, but is there anything that Nicky Lopez can benefit from watching a guy like Salvador Perez go about his business? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that I can benefit from is just the way he goes about his business. Just the way he works. His work ethic is through the roof. But if I'm going to go to a cage and watch him, any hitter I can watch and be like, all right, I can learn a lot from his backside, the way he stays on his backside, doesn't drift forward. Obviously, once you drift forward, you're losing on all your power, and he does a really good job. And then obviously the way his hands work too. So I wouldn't necessarily look at him as a player comp or someone where I'm like, I'm going to be Salvador Perez.
Similar body types.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm like his left leg. So I would probably look at someone different. But you can always learn a lot about hitters. Just the way they're set up, their load, and stuff like that. But like you said, I probably wouldn't go spend too much time in the cage with him because he's a freak.
So when you talked about how you still don't really know like who you are as a player at the big league level, does that make it difficult for you to set goals for yourself? Where it's like if you set a goal for yourself where you did want to hit 10 homers, or it's like I want to have 40 doubles, or I want to swipe 30 bases, because you're evolving as a player at the big league level, is it hard for you to set goals for yourself at the start of the year?
Yeah, this year was hard. I mean, this year was a difficult one because I got sent down and 2 days before the season, they called me and were like, "We're gonna need you in Kansas City." So I'm like, "All right, I just want to get there. I want to compete, and I want to try to help my team win and do well, because I don't want to go to Omaha."
A loss sucks.
And it's unfortunate, obviously, the circumstances of why I got called up, because obviously you don't want to get called up due to an injury. But I just try to make the most of it, and it is hard to set goals. But I think this is kind of like the blueprint of what I need to follow. My kind of game: get on base, steal bases, play great defense, and score runs. And I think that's the kind of the blueprint, obviously. And then after that, then I can maybe set some goals of, all right, well, this year I want to hit some home runs, or I want to get 30 doubles, or, something like that, or 10 triples, or whatever that may be. But as far as like a blueprint of what I need to do, I think I need to stick to kind of this plan.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, at the end of it all, you're reliving that dream of the kid in the backyard. Bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. It is what it is. Is Nicky Lopez hitting a walk-off tank, or are you okay with a fillet job over the shortstop's head? Like how? Like
the Luis Gonzalez piece.
I am hitting a tank. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And that's the thing, is that, like, I feel like we're, like you said, I'm dreaming of it. I'm doing it in the backyard, but like when it comes reality, like, I'll take a fillet job.
Fuck yeah.
When I'm in the big leagues, I'm taking a fillet job.
Mm-hmm.
But if I hit a walk-off tank, that would be obviously something special. But when I'm in the backyard, when I was 4 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, I'm hitting a nuke dead center.
All right, caveat to our merch line here as well. If at any point in time the home run hit during the season is a walk-off homer, Nick drops dick.
Yeah.
Line starts then.
All right, I'll reach out to you if I hit a walk-off home run.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm watching. I'll be watching.
Yeah.
Start it.
Yeah. That's gonna be my caption that I roll with for every single homer that he hits for the rest of his career. Nick drops dick.
Nick drops dick.
That's gonna be the Twitter highlight.
I love
caption. So I want to know, because it's kind of like the Rick Ankiel question that we ask everyone is, so Rick Ankiel, when he was in high school, he threw, what was it, Dallas? 7 no-hitters? 9 no-hitters?
Don't fucking rob the man. 9.
He threw 9 no-hitters in high school. And we asked him, like, what's the one game that was just the best game of your life? And this dude's got 9 no-hitters to pick from. And he picked the game where he threw a one-hit complete game shutout. The one hit was a dribbler in front of the mound, and then he hit a walk-off home run. So he didn't even pick
cool.
the no-hitter, the 9 no-hitters to choose from. What was your Rick Ankiel game? You can go back to Little League if that's how far back you want to go. Travel ball, AAU, high school, anything.
I'm going back to, I think, Tulsa. I'm going back to Tulsa, AA. Obviously, big leagues, you always remember your first hit, your first home run, which was pretty cool. My first home run was at TD Ameritrade. We did that that game to kickstart the College World Series, and I had a home run in my college stadium because I played at Creighton. So that was cool. I'll never forget that.
That's dope.
But Tulsa, I hit a natural cycle. So I had a single, then the double, then the triple, then the home run. And I was 4 for 4. I was like, all right. And then the next at bat, I hit another single. So I was 5 for 5. I think it was like my first ever 5 for 5 game. But just to be able to hit a natural cycle and then obviously hit a home run too. And I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest time of my life. And then
that means all that story says to me is that if you want to try to hit a home run on purpose, you can.
You can do it.
I compare myself to Ichiro.
Yes, that was just.
I think I can hit a home run whenever I want. Well, my joke is like to Sal, because Sal has 46. I was like, well, Sal, like I only tried 2 times this year and I was successful. So, and then like 2 days later, a German Shepherd ran on the field and ran at me, and which was kind of cool. So Tulsa's the best place on earth, basically.
Are we not giving the cycle its just due? Like, are we shortchanging the cycle, Nicky? Like, because there's people who don't even want to hear it. Like, don't come on. I don't care that he's a fucking triple away. I don't stop it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the cycle is probably one of the hardest things to do in baseball, right? I would, other than
Yeah.
I mean, a no hitter or something like that, but
Yeah, I think the cycle, like the thing about the cycle is if your last box to check is the triple, I'm not into it. Like you're not hitting a fucking triple.
Hey,
if
you
need
don't.
that
Hey,
for the
at
last
Kauffman
one.
Stadium, things change, bud. Things
Yeah,
change.
like
at
unless
the
it's like San Francisco or Detroit or something like that. If there's a chance because of ballpark factors, all right, I'm paying attention. But if you need a triple for the last one, I'm not into it. It's
You're
really
right.
only
Big
exciting
thing.
if you need like a base hit or if you need a homer. Then you can see it. Like Mookie, I remember Mookie needed a homer in the 9th inning to get the cycle. Or like
turn the page.
Cargo.
He's on the Dodgers.
Cargo. And didn't Nolan do it too? Nolan and Cargo both hit walk-off homers to complete the cycle.
Cargo.
see
did.
that's insane. That will get you on the edge of your seat for sure.
Fuck
Yeah.
The last one I needed was the home run, which was cool, and it was one of those moments that I was like, how the hell did I do that?
Yeah, see, and if that's a moment where you don't have to run the bases any longer, like if we just take that out of the equation, like you could have stood at home plate for like 20 seconds and just fucking gone nuts. I mean, that's
So do you have to in that rule that you don't have to run the bases? Do you have to touch home?
no.
So do you
whatever-
hit it and then just like stomp on home plate?
Absolutely. Like you do what I do at softball. I hit a home run and I fucking overhand tomahawk my bat to the end of the dugout. And I just fuck yeah. Let everybody know I'm not here for this. Running? No. If I don't hit it out of the park, then I'll run. Other than that, I'm putting on a fucking show.
No, I'm with you because obviously I don't hit home runs often. So when I do that, I would put on a show.
You got to let the people know that
Right.
Nick drops dick. That's the fucking take-home message for these people at the K. Nicky, man, you've been fucking phenomenal, man. We
Whoa.
appreciate you.
Whoa.
Oh, whoa, where are you going? Where are you going?
Yeah, everyone's got the last question. What are you doing?
That's what I was just gonna ask him.
All right. But it's a standard time.
No, yeah, you don't know that. He'll decide
Okay.
what
All
kind
right,
of
you can
fucking
decide.
hot tub
But
he
it's a
wants to
standard
get
time
in.
machine. All right. Proceed. Standard time machine.
So if you could get into a hot tub time
Like
machine,
a standard, just a regular time
hot
machine.
tub time machine, probably
it's a
lot
regular
more,
time
You
machine.
have a lot of fun in that.
Yeah.
You're in that hot tub time machine and you're going back in time to any moment in baseball history. Which moment are you going back to watch and why? Again, any moment, any era.
Jesus. Any moment, any era.
Yeah, some have said 5/9/2010.
No one said that.
We've seen some pretty. Being able to, obviously a Chicago guy, being able to see the Cubs win the World Series was cool. So I don't have to go back to that.
Were you there?
I was in the city. I was in Omaha when they won, but I was in the city when they won like game. What was it? Game 5, I think it was. Game 6, which was really cool. I would go back in time to I think Jackie Robinson. I think I would want to go. I would want to go see that era. I would want to see the way he played, because obviously it was very special and it was a key moment in our history. So.
Huge.
I think I would want to go see him.
Huge.
Love that.
Huge moment.
Yeah. So I think that's it.
Sweet. Before we let you go, pimp the social media. What do you got? Instagram, Twitter.
Instagram and Twitter. Instagram, I got different names now. So my growing up, I love the number 3, but obviously I can't have that here. But I'm N Lopez 3 on Instagram, and Twitter I am Nick 3 Lopez. Obviously I'm rocking number 8 now, but because Dyson wanted number 1.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was more than happy to give him number 1. He deserved it. Obviously, if you play 10 years in the big leagues, you can have anything you want.
Yeah, and he can afford nice things as well, and he can afford to give you nice things as well. So please share with the class the nice thing.
He got me a nice watch.
There you go. What kind? I mean, Rolly? We talking
me a-
Panerai?
He got me a nice Breitling. Nice Breitling watch. So
All right.
it was very nice. Definitely one of the nicest things I own. So Dyson's he's the man. One of the best teammates I've ever played with. So I hope he gets to the playoffs with Toronto personally.
Love that. Love that. All right, Nicky Lopez, thank you so much for taking the time. This was awesome. We appreciate it.
All right, big thanks to Nicky Lopez making his starting 9 debut. Enjoy the rub. I don't know if there's really enough time to get a true starting 9 rub at this point. But if you do have a hot last week of your season, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And,
Absolutely.
You're also welcome.
I am legitimately I love the game. I love his game, and I want it to get. I want to see him and Whit Merrifield run some shit.
Yeah.
I
Those
really
are two
do.
guys that are bat to ball guys.
It's fun. It's fun to watch. Old Nicky Lopez. Hey, you see the Zimmer brothers? The
I did
brothers
see that.
Zimmer
I did see that.
square off.
It was actually a pretty nasty pitch too. Like anyone that was like, "Oh yeah, of course," like they know it's a moment, and you've got to groove one to your brother or whatever, or the one brother wants to have the bragging rights of punching somebody out. Like that was not a fucking fastball, and it was certainly not down the middle.
No, it was a slide piece
At
to
the bottom
back
of the
foot.
zone, like on the black.
Yeah. So Bradley Zimmer, outfielder for the Cleveland Indians, squared off against his brother Kyle on Monday, pitcher for the Kansas City Royals. And Kyle threw that pitch down and in, and Bradley promptly shat upon that ball and sent it onto the right field mezzanine. Just blasted. Now, I'm sure we all thought, great, conversations and blah, 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 holidays, yada, yada, yada. I want to know why there was no, Jared, if I hit a home run off you in the big leagues and we're brothers, I am doing everything I can to make you cry around the bases.
That simply didn't
Everything-
happen here.
Everything I can. I want this. Absolutely. I want you to remember this in the worst possible way. I don't ever want you to look at me in a batter's box with a positive thought in your head. Ever. This is ultimate brain control here. I wanted to see, I don't know what you would do as a brother to another brother to get him to that point, but pointing at him, pointing and laughing the whole time.
You'd be the worst person in that position, yeah.
What's that?
You would be the worst person, if you had a brother
Oh,
that you homered off of or you struck out in a big league ball game. I can't imagine anyone handling that situation worse than you.
it would every answer, every response to anything that you ever ask me, text me, the first response from me is going to be, like when I took you deep?
Yeah.
It's bro, I asked if you were going to dinner.
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
like when I
yeah,
went to
dinner's
dinner
about
on
a-
that weak ass fucking slider you threw me.
Speaking of dinner, how about that fucking steak I blasted off you back in fucking Cleveland, loser?
Forever.
Yeah. Everything.
Yeah.
There'd be no living it down.
I mean, it was a legit nasty pitch. It was
Yeah,
nasty.
and if you don't believe me that I would be this way, if you're listening, I want you to try see if you can locate a guy named Jeff Baisley. Jeff Baisley and I were teammates in the minor leagues, and Jeff Baisley ended up playing with the Angels, I believe, at a time. And I was, oddly enough, making a rehab start in fucking Arizona, where Baisley was at the time as well. And we were, former teammates, but we faced each other the first at bat, fucking broken bat, knock. And he's talking shit the whole way down the line, just fucking running his mouth, talking shit. I pick over there a few times, just fucking with him. Next at bat, I drill him right in the fucking back. Right in the back. And he was fucking pissed. Not happy about it. Not happy about it. That's fucking bullshit. That's fucking bull. And I just kept doing this. Keep talking that shit. Keep talking that shit. So yeah, you'd fucking never live it down.
I mean, was he actually mad that you hit him?
Yeah, I think he was pissed. Yeah, for sure.
I could see it,
I mean,
but
it's all good.
I would be
Like,
expecting that from you, though.
What's that?
I would be expecting that from you.
Well, yeah, if you're running your mouth like that, and like I got all the love in the world for the dude, like I no ill feelings whatsoever. Yeah, but and again, like my whole thought is it's fucking 88, 90. Like it doesn't hurt.
No, I'm sure that it hurts a little bit. Yeah.
We got ice. No fucking problem. You're fine. Yeah, but like maybe a fucking cartwheel around the entire base path. Something.
Just something at all. I mean, I think even like the Seager brothers. I think Corey hit a home run and
Kyle
trotted
fucking like
past
elbowed
Kyle. Yeah, like a little something.
Or did he not even look at him?
He did a no look.
He just statued him.
Kyle didn't look at Corey rounding the bases.
Yeah. So like this is because Brad, younger brother. So it's the younger brother who pops the older brother, right?
Yeah.
And like there's already a layer to that right there. Because if it's the older brother to the younger brother, you go like, look, fucking told you. Like you've never been as good as me, bro. It's just never been in the cards. You know what I'm saying? Like sure, we're both in the big leagues, but look what happens when two big league brothers square off against each other. You get fucking punched out, all right? That's how that's going to go.
Yeah.
And now the little brother's saying, fucking told you. I've been taking you deep my whole fucking life. Just because you're older doesn't mean you're better.
That is true. That is true.
Laid in that fucking wrinkle and got that shit ironed out, cuh.
It's like Kane and the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Just like that. You pop a teaser recently?
I have not, but I got the wife coming in. The wife and the baby girl's coming in tonight.
So
it could be a
I
little
forgot to
mango.
ask you. Is Meg pregnant again, or is she playing the role of someone who's pregnant? Didn't she just post something on? Is that fake?
Yes, that's fake.
Jeez, I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you didn't tell me.
If not, my wife and I are going to have a conversation when she gets here.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been home in a fucking month and a half, Jared. That's going to be a real fucking problem.
So she's acting now?
Yeah, well, she's been wanting to find a time where she can get back into work, get back into projects and stuff. And with the girls going to school now, there's little windows of opportunity throughout the day, but it's just kind of helped the schedule work out a little bit. So
I was very surprised. I mean, I was like, I really couldn't. I was leaning more towards fake, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, trust me, dude. When she sent me the pictures, I was like, that was really fucking real.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, well, hey, you the cycle thing, you had your period yet? Like,
yeah.
Is this a like?
Yeah, I was like,
okay, all right.
Like, I don't know that. Like, I don't know if they were planning on having a third, but it would make sense. It's been a stressful year for Dallas. It's been a very trying times. Kind of want to literally plant the seed to have something to look forward to because it's not going to be postseason baseball.
Well, that's not necessarily true. Hopes and dreams, Carrabis. That's the hybrid. Mm-hmm. Jerobolis.
Mm-hmm.
You going to be slamming some teas and teenies?
Yeah, I want to try it. I mean, I haven't done it in terms of trying a teaser with a beverage to go along with it. I've been hyping it up for a while. I feel like it's something that I'm going to have to give a shot. But if you want more focus and energy to perform your best on the diamond, or just in general, you need Tiza Performance Energy Pouches packed with powerful herbs and vitamins. Tiza nutrient pouches provide oral stimulation with penetrating flavor. They have 7 delicious flavors and 14 product options, including pouches with and without caffeine. Drinking with a Tiza in your mouth is even better as it takes the flavor and overall product experience to the next level. Try a flavored seltzer with a cherry or a mango Tiza or a Tizantini, which is a martini with a mango habanero Tiza pouch. This is a Dallas. Like, they should just name it after Dallas, I feel, at this point. Tiza highlights include no tobacco, no nicotine, no calories, no spitting, no mess, fresh breath, and cuts cravings for snacks, oral tobacco, cigarettes, sodas, mints, and gum. New customers, you guys can use the promo code Barstool30, and that'll get you 30% off your first purchase at TizaEnergy.com. Again, new customers, use the promo code Barstool30 for 30% off your first purchase at Tiza, Teaza, energy.com. Okay, before we get out of here, let's just take one last look at what's going on in this American League wild card, because we've got is it safe to call it a logjam? I feel like you've got to be like tied or I mean, they're close to being tied. I mean, it's not. You're either separated by a game or a half game for the team in front of you. So you've got the Boston Red Sox playing the Baltimore Orioles.
If the A's were closer, yes, logjam. If the A's were closer, if the A's weren't as far on the outside as they are right now, then yeah, logjam. But right now, I mean, if a fucking mouse farts in the wrong direction, the A's are out of the playoffs. So
yeah.
it's.
I mean, you still have 4 teams. You've got the Yankees, the Red Sox, a game behind them, the Blue Jays, a game behind the Red Sox, and the Mariners a half game behind the Blue Jays. I'm going to call that a logjam. And then you got the A's that are they're just floating in outer space right now. But the Boston Red Sox, they've got 3. They've got 3 against the Baltimore Orioles. Should be able to handle that. Then you have the New York Yankees versus the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto. That's going to be the series to pay attention to. That's a big one.
Huge series.
Huge. Also, not that this is American League wild card, but you've got the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies going head-to-head.
Division.
And I believe the Phillies are, 2.5 back?
That's why I said division.
They are 2.5 back. Which is crazy when you consider that the Atlanta Braves have a plus 121 run differential, and the Phillies have a negative 5 run differential. The Phillies still 2.5 back. So this is a monster series. First game, Zach Wheeler versus Chucky Morton. Next up, the A's and the Mariners they're still going head-to-head. Chris Bassett on the mound tonight, which will be welcome back, Chris Bassett. Happy to see whatever he's got left.
He's already pitched before. He's already been back.
Didn't he come out of the pen?
No.
Okay, so what did he go, 3?
Started, 3 innings.
Yeah. Well, I know we talked about it. And then I guess if you care about this sort of thing, the Dodgers and Padres again. You Darvish.
The Yankees and Jays series.
That's
the big one.
Well, I mean, Braves, Phillies, there's juice there.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the AL.
Yeah. But yeah, you've got Yankees, Blue Jays. It's going to be strap the fuck in for that series. I'm very excited for that. All right, before we get out of here, Dallas, do you have any predictions before the next time that we meet? Do you want to predict anything? Do you have any bold takes that you want to throw out there? The next time we meet, the Phillies will be in first place. The next time that we meet, the Seattle Mariners will be the second wild card spot. What do you got for me?
Ooh. I mean, you know what? Let's take a look real quick. Because as much as I hate to fucking say it, the way the A's are playing baseball right now, I mean, it very well could. At the end of this series, the Seattle Mariners very well could be in that wild card spot.
Well, I mean, the Red Sox are playing the Orioles, so it's gonna. Toronto's gonna have to take care of business.
Right. But the Orioles, they've played the Red Sox tough at times.
No, they haven't.
Sure, they have.
No, I think the Red Sox are 12-4 against them this year.
It's not totally indicative of how all the innings have gone.
12-4.
Jared, I've got fucking nothing.
You
pal,
got nothing.
All right?
I know. The Red Sox are 12-4 against the Orioles this year, and 3 of those 4 losses were their first 3 games of the season where they just didn't realize that we were playing real baseball. So
See? So
they've
at
won
times,
13
they've
of
played them
their.
tough,
They've won
like I
12
told
of
you.
their last 13 against Baltimore.
But they've played them tough at times,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Yep, I remember Easter. I remember it well.
see.
That was a wild Easter Sunday. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is where I have to balance the Oakland A's pundency and what I'm doing here, but the numbers. Because what you're telling me is that Chris Bassett's not going to do well today, and I don't believe
I didn't
that.
say that. I just said
No, not you personally. Just
I love Chris Bassett.
yeah. I mean, right now, after what happened yesterday to the A's, like that was a firm bitch slap. Firm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're reeling right now. You're reeling. A sweep could easily, obviously, put the Seattle Mariners in a spot that I didn't think that they would be.
The playoffs. Our Mariners. America's team. And for all, if you want to ever call me biased ever again, I had Red Sox fans upset with me. Every time that like the Toronto, like Marcus Semien, but by the way, one of the greatest Blue Jays of all time, Marcus Semien. Every time he hits a homer, I'm tweeting his highlights out, and I'm like, "What do you mean, Red Sox fan? Why can't I celebrate the near MVP season that Marcus Semien is having for the Toronto Blue Jays?" Like, you could make the case.
We don't have to here, though.
The
We don't
Blue
have to
Jays
here,
are
though.
really only
This
in the
is
position that they're in
not the
because
place
of the
that this
tremendous season that
has
Mark.
to
Like,
happen.
imagine having,
it's
going
been
into
a
the
decent
offseason being like, I think we're one piece away, and then
contributed.
adding a guy like Marcus
He's great.
Semien to
He
your
can switch
squad,
positions.
and then getting there. That's what the
MVP
Blue
talent.
Jays have the opportunity to do.
Didn't
Like the
even have
Blue
the talent
Jays.
here.
The Blue Jays going into the last week of the season still have hope to play in October because of a guy like Marcus Semien. You add that guy, that's when you start cooking with gas. So when I tweet out Marcus Semien highlights, Red Sox fans get upset with me. They're like, "Why are you rooting for the Blue Jays?" I'm not rooting for anyone. I'm just excited to watch how awesome of a season a guy like Semien's having. And then you look at the Seattle Mariners. I'm like, okay, like yes, potentially the Seattle Mariners could be a team that knock off the Red Sox from a wild card spot. But if I go out there and I watch Mitch Haniger hit not 1 but 2 3-run bombs in like a 3-inning span, which is crazy to drive in 6 runs in 2 ABs, but and to do that in that spot, like, yes, I'm going to celebrate that. That is just good, clean baseball. And I dare you to find someone who appreciates and loves good, clean baseball more than this guy. So I don't care. I do not care if you're a Red Sox fan that's like, hey, stop celebrating these teams that could potentially kick the Red Sox out of the playoffs. Stop celebrating their success. I will celebrate their success. Because not only is it my job, it's my duty to let everybody know what these guys on the West Coast are up to, what these guys up north, what they're up to. And I will stop at nothing until everyone knows that Marcus Semien is arguably a top 3 player in Major League Baseball the season that he's had, and that Mitch Haniger is just crushing homers in Seattle late night. And that's really all I got to say about that.
We're gone.